Contract law. Right, and what a contract is, it's an exchange of promises between two or more parties. And the law is the pact must be kept, or the promise must be kept. So that's the contract and the contract law. And contracts can be made to do something or not to do something. And I'll give you a little explanation of that later on, an example. So it can refrain from doing something as well as doing something. And they don't always have to be in writing. They can be a verbal contract too. And we make contracts every day of our lives. Even buying a cup of coffee is making a contract, isn't it? Making a contract between you and the cafe. I want to buy this, they must supply it if they're charging for it, and there's certain conditions that they must keep up to. So you're agreeing on something. Of course, if you're going to buy something, a large amount of money, a car and so forth, maybe it will be written and you'll have all the terms and conditions in there. If you're just going to buy a law book, pay cash across the counter, it's still a contract. Or if we agree on doing something, shake hands on it, that can be considered a contract. And it can be enforceable by law. It does not have to be written. But you'd be silly if you went to buy a house and you didn't have a written contract. A friend of mine bought a car wash in Australia. A hand car wash, a very good business. And in the written contract he had the business aspect, all the facts and figures, how much it was going to cost, the rental of the property. He also had in it all the fixtures and fittings, the equipment. But he also had something else written in it, and that was to refrain from doing something and to refrain from opening another car wash within a 10k radius. He didn't want him or the owner, the previous owner, to go and open another car wash and take all of his customers with him. So you can put that into contracts when buying a business in Australia. A breach of contract, not keeping your promise. Remember over here, pacts must be kept, the law. So a breach of contract is recognised by law. But remedies can be made. You can come to some solution. But remember, when you make a contract, you must adhere to it. So contract law can be classified as part of a general law of obligations. And that's usually habitual in all civil law systems. And bear in mind, there are many different kinds of contracts, isn't there? There's business contracts, there's work contracts, employment contracts. And an employment contract can be a little bit different. What you're promising there, the two parties, is to pay, to work, to do your job, and you are saying, yes, you'll do that job. And it might be over a 12-month period. But in a case like that, you can, if you want to leave that job, you can break the contract without any punishment whatsoever, unless it's really a specific type of contracted work. Then restitution could be made. Even sports people enter into contracts. Everybody can enter into a contract, and as I said before, we do it every day. Remember, pacts must be kept, promises must be kept. And that's the reason we have guarantees and warranties too, because promises must be kept. Contract and contract law.